It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Lockdown Lassiter shines on day 11 of Texas training camp.
Big sauce.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You're tuning into the Texans Happy Hour. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on at the Tick and the Talk, which we are live on. What's going on, TikTok family? At Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end, because you know we do everything for the gram. And make sure you're subscribed to the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast and YouTube channel, all one word, Texans Tailgate Talk. All right, as soon as somebody jumps into those comments, I'm going to need your help to see if you are hearing what I am saying. Can you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? What's going on, y'all? Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. One thing that I love, I forgot that I got to do this. One thing that I love is I can breathe. And what I mean by I can breathe is that let me repost that real quick. I can breathe. I can breathe. This air up here in West Virginia is amazing. It is amazing. Oh, I forgot. The show is sponsored by Hall Family Estates. Make sure you go to www.hallfamilyestates.com. They say you can't buy happiness, but you can buy wine, and that's the closest thing to it. So, once again, I can breathe, y'all. I'm so happy. Oh my God. You know, my wife and I, we went on our vacation. Well, it was like our anniversary vacation, right? It was like our anniversary vacation. And what we did was, hold on, y'all, give me a second, because I don't think I have the volume up over here. There we go. We flew into New York, and then we took a car and we just drove around. What's up, Dizzy? Hey, tell me if you can hear me or not. And for those of you who are watching me live on TikTok, I'm trying to see if my people that's following this show on Twitter and YouTube, if you can hear me. Dizzy, let me know if you can hear me. So, but my wife and I, we took a trip. We flew into New York, and then we rented a car, and then we just rode around the East Coast. So we went to Boston, went to New Hampshire. Where else we was at? Where else did we go to? I'm trying to remember. But you said it's a little muggy, but manageable. Hold on for a second. It ain't gonna have no good sounding. What's going on? This may not be the best, but let's do it this way. Y'all, I'm trying to get, because I'm out of town, right? Because I'm out of town, it is one of those things that I have to deal with when it comes to sound, because I don't have my microphone with me, because I flew United. And so fly United, I didn't know what I could bring. I normally fly Southwest, so I was kind of hesitant on what I could bring, and I wanted to make sure, since I was going to be gone for a week, that I did not overpack, and then I had make sure that my suitcases were the right amount. So, okay, thanks, Dizzy. Dizzy says it's way better. I'll go back in the when I do the editing process, and I'll fix up the sound. So, like I was saying, though, my wife and I went to the East Coast, and you never realize how much humidity that Houston has until you get away from Houston. Like once you get away from Houston, You can breathe in every eye. As a matter of fact, before I even started this show, I walked outside and I was just like, feels so good to go to training camp and not step out of your vehicle and already have sweat rolling down your back. It feels amazing. Today I had on a jacket. And for those of you all who live in Houston and the surrounding areas, look, I wore a jacket throughout the entire 2.5 hours we were out there. I mean, it was amazing. The interview that I did with Texans wide receiver Xavier Hutchinson. Oh, I see what you just said. So yeah, it was great. It was great. Okay, y'all, look, I got to do this, right? Because we got a visitor. So give me 1 second, y'all. And I'm talking about those who are watching me on TikTok live as well. We got 1 second because I got to get into this. But for those of y'all who are just joining, you're watching the Texans Happy Hour. I'm your host, Big Sarge. We're sponsored by We're sponsored by the Hall Family Estates. They say you can't buy wine, but you can't buy happiness, but you can buy wine, and that's the closest thing to it. All right, so real quick. So is this Cleveland Mike? I hope that's Cleveland Mike. He says, Buckeye fan here for the Stover update. So, okay, for those of you all who are joining me on TikTok, you might not have seen this. I tweeted this out when we were in the midst of I think I said we're a team drill. And when I say team drills, I'm talking about 11 on 11, right? Team drills 11 on 11. So they had to be team drill 3. So the Texans have safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson on the team now, right? And like I told you all on Monday's episode, all he does is talk. Cleveland Mike say from the 216. What's up, Cleveland Mike? Welcome to the show. So C.J. Gardner-Johnson, right? All he does is he talks, he talk trash, he talk more trash. I put out a clip showing that him and Dalton Schultz, that battle that they have amongst each other is amazing. But it's one thing to go back and forth with Dalton Schultz. It's another thing to try to go at Cade Stover. Now, look, I understand Cade Stover. This is his second year in the league. Second year in the NFL. He's still getting acclimated to playing in the NFL. But the one thing about Cade Stover, he don't do a lot of talking. If in the immortal words of the great Negro poet Marshawn Lynch, if I'm about that action boss was a person, if the phrase I'm about that action boss was a person, it'd be Cade Stover. He don't do a lot of talking. And he country strong. He is strong as hell. He's strong. And last week he told us during his press conference, they asked him about, well, what did you do, Cade, on the farm, because he bought himself a farm this past offseason. And he said, it's pretty much my workout. All I did was go on the farm, feed the cattle, walk up and down with 5 pounds of feed on each hand. And he said he did a whole bunch of farm workouts. You know what that means? That means that dude is country strong. When I say country strong, I mean that there's another gear of strong. Like, they're strong. Like, I put it like this. Danielle Hunter is strong. He yoked up too, but Danielle Hunter is strong. Cade Stover is like super strong. And you can't really tell by looking at him that he's that strong, but that country strong is something different. It's like back in the day when your uncles were growing up and they were like mechanics, or they was, they could do everything with their hand, but their hands were so rugged and their hands were so just raggedy. You didn't want to shake them. You didn't want them to hug you. But when they grabbed you, they gripped you, and you was like, how are you this strong? That's how Cade Stover is. Cade Stover is that strong. So, C.J. Stroud drops back. Cade Stover blocks, releases, goes into the flats. C.J. hits him in the flats. He catches the ball, turns upfield, gains a couple of yards. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is coming down to tackle him, right? To stop him, rather. So C.J. Gardner-Johnson comes down, and the rule, let me sit up. I feel like I'm slouching. Let me fix this camera. So the rule is from DeMeco Ryans, we have on pads, but we're not tackling to the ground. We're not going to the ground. We're not taking nobody to the ground, right? And so C.J. Gardner-Johnson comes downhill. He hits Cade Stover. He hits him, and he tackles him, and he takes him to the ground. And when he takes him to the ground, they immediately jump up. And I don't know what C.J. Gardner-Johnson said to Cade Stover, but whatever it was, it caused him to react. And he reached over and he put him in a headlock. And I'm saying to myself as I'm looking, you ain't getting out of that, bro. I'm sorry. You're not getting out of that. You're not getting out of that headlock unless Cade Stover wants you out of that headlock. I don't know if there's one single person that could have came over and got him out of the headlock. It took a team effort. They had to pull him off and separate. And of course, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he got that dog in him, so he's going to continue to bark. He's going to continue to talk. But when Cade Stover put him in a headlock, I said, yeah, that ain't looking too good for you, C.J. I'm sorry, C.D. That is not looking too good for you. Stover don't play them type games. All Stover wants to do, he want to come to work. He want to come to work. He want to do his job, and he want to go home or go to the farm or do something that has to do with being country. He is country. Y'all, look, some of y'all too young to remember this. He country is corn. He country is corn. So, yes, Cleveland Mike put him in a headlock and said, hey, bro, what we not going to do is this. What we not doing today, we not doing this. And so I didn't want to jump right into that Cleveland Mike, but since you new here, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you showing up. I had to show you some love. It's the first time. Hey, look, and for those of you who are watching me on TikTok, hey, I didn't forget about y'all. I'm going to do a special live for you all because I can see you all, but I can't see the comments. Like, I think it's Jake 96. How you think Chubb will perform with mixing out? I think he's going to do a good job. Let's just go ahead and jump into this, y'all. Once again, tune into the Texas Happy Hour, sponsored by the Hall Family Estates. Make sure you go to www.hallfamilyestates.com. I'm your host, Big Sarge. All right, so day 11 of Houston Texans training camp concluded, and it's Jake 96 on TikTok Live right now. Said that he asked me, how does Chubb look with Mixon being out? It's crazy because now I can see now. I'm starting to see a little bit more, even though there's still some uncertainty on that line. Even though there's some uncertainty on that line, what we talked about yesterday, what we talked about on Monday, when I told you all, I can see everything differently now because I'm behind the play now. I'm behind the play. And when I was talking about C.J. Stroud and what he sees is because I'm behind the play. So being behind the play, you can see something totally different. And now you can see Chubb looks like he's gotten his legs up under him and he's getting acclimated to being with the Texans. He's getting acclimated to kind of running behind that line. And I think that first play of 11 on 11s, he broke, right? And so I'm saying to myself, okay. And as the day progressed, as the day went on, of course, the defense stopped a lot of the run plays, but you could just see, now I can see what they're seeing. And I can see if he has a hole, he gets through it. But if there's no hole, he tries to get what he can get. And then that's it. He lives to fight another day. That brings me to this point. And it's Jake 96. Thanks for the question. That brings me to this point, y'all. So left tackle Cam Robinson was out again on Tuesday. They rolled out the same offensive line that they had on Monday when Cam Robinson went down. And that's Titus Howard at the right tackle, Juice Scruggs at the right guard. Today they had Jake Andrews at the center position, had Laken Tomlinson at the left guard,
I hope I said right tackle for Titus. Right tackle for Titus, right guard for Juice. Center was Jake Andrews. Left guard was Lakin Tomlinson. And left tackle was Ariante Ursery. And y'all didn't hear this from me, but the Texans need to run that lineup with Titus at right tackle and Ariante Ursery at left tackle. Ariante and Lakin Tomlinson opened up a lot of running lanes for those running backs. Ariante Ursery looked good playing that left tackle position. He's still a rookie. I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm not going to anoint him as the next best left tackle. I'm not going to anoint him as Trent Williams or anything like that. Not yet. But that young man is learning in real time, and you can see being baptized by fire by Will Anderson Jr. and by Danielle Hunter. You could tell he's starting to get better. And on Tuesday, that side of the line looked a whole lot better with him in there than it did with Cam Robinson. Now, I'm not knocking Cam Robinson. I don't know Cam Robinson. I'm still learning Cam Robinson. I'm still learning Ed Ingram. I'm still learning Lakin Tomlinson. There's players that are new to this team that I'm still learning that are not rookies. I'm still learning Christian Kirk. So, but Ariante Ursery, hey, Nick got him a good one. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do when he can get some experience under his belt, some game time under his belt. And he has the physical makeup. He still has his college body, so they're going to have to get him his NFL body strong. They're going to have to make him NFL strong, but he still has that type of that build up. As you can see, if he stays on this trajectory, he's going to be good. But on Tuesday, he looked a whole lot better. Monday, you could tell he was still getting acclimated, but it looks like, and I think that someone put this out on social media. They commented when I said that left tackle is his natural position, so he should have looked good there. Hey, y'all, look, and I'm going to read some of these questions from TikTok Live. We're going to jump into it today. J Monet 713. Any fights today, Sarge? Yep. K Stover and CJ Gardner Johnson. And then at the end of practice was a big fight. And I think that it was, I left my roster. I think it was the number 25 is Yeast. I think that's who it is, the safety Yeast. I don't know who he was, who he got into it, but I'm going to find out. Matthew says, when do you think it's time to worry about the offense? Because Sports Radio 610 is kind of saying SOS. Don't worry about it. Matthew, on Monday, we talked about it. I talked about it with a couple of people after practice today. I talked with Xavier Hutchinson, wide receiver for the Houston Texans, about that. And I even spoke about it when I was on Kim Davis's training camp recap. The problem for the offense is they have no continuity. They have not built continuity yet. This is still a bunch of players who don't know each other, who's trying to learn each other in real time, and they're also learning a brand new playbook from a brand new offensive coordinator. They don't have the camaraderie. They don't have the camaraderie or the chemistry that defense has. Even when you insert CJ Gardner Johnson, like he's the only new person that they inserted. When you brought back Sheldon Rankins was here the first year of DeMeco Ryans, and the system that he's playing in, he knows that system like the back of his hand. And so by knowing that system, the back of his hand, he don't have to learn nothing. You just insert Sheldon Rankins right back here. So it's Sheldon Rankins and Mario Edwards. So it's Sheldon Rankins and Tim Settle Jr. And then when you got Will Anderson Jr. and you got Daniil Hunter, and then you pull them out, and then Darrell Taylor, who's used to this system as well, comes right in, or Dylan Horton comes right in, and then you're shuffling those defensive linemen. You're shuffling them in and out, but they already know exactly what to do. It's the exact same thing that they've been doing. The linebackers, you know, Azeez already knows what he's doing. You look at Henry To'oTo'o, who took a step up last season and got better. He got better. And then you look at the defensive backs. Of course, you got an all-pro cornerback. You got an all-pro clone, and we'll get to Kamari Lassiter. That's what we're going to talk about, because today's show is called Lockdown Lassiter Shines on day 11 of Texas training camp. When you talk about Kamari, you already know what Kalen Bullock is capable of, and he added to his game. And then you bring in a Super Bowl winner and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who, like, if they open it up and look at his heart, it's probably a pit bull. He probably don't have a heart. It's probably just a pit bull right there. And he encompasses everything that D'Amico wants to do. I wouldn't be surprised if he got swarm tatted across his chest. That's how he is. That's exactly who C.J. Gardner-Johnson is. So I say all that to say that when they move as a unit, let me not forget Jalen Petrie. They got Jalen Petrie back, who can play that corner position, that nickel corner position. You can move him into safety. You can also make him a linebacker. They have one of the most complete units in the NFL. The Houston Texans defense is one of the most complete units in the NFL. There aren't too many units that are complete from the front seven to the back end like the Houston Texans. They have a lot of talent, and they have a lot of young talent that they're building on, and what D'Amico is doing. So what they're learning, they're not learning the system like what CJ and the rest of the offense is. They're not learning a system. They already have their system. What D'Amico is starting doing is putting these players in different positions, trying to see how they work. There was an exotic package on Monday, and I said to myself, goodness gracious, if this worked. And now that we're a day removed, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it was. Come closer, y'all, to whatever apparatus you listen to me on. Texans fans, come here. Hold on, let me get a drink of water right quick. You know what? Because y'all don't be believing me. Let me get some water right quick. Texas fans. What's up, Larry and Stafford? Hey, come here. I seen a package where they had Will and Daniil on the same side. Shh, don't tell nobody. I seen a package that they experimented with. Now, they may not use it. I don't know. But I seen a package that included Will Anderson Jr. and Daniil Hunter on the same side. The same side. Do you know what that would do to a right side or a left side? You know what that'll do? All right. Trips right, 38 special, ZYTY Hilton, Miley Cyrus, and Audible gonna be Taylor Swift, Beyonce on 2. Ready? And they break and they turn around, they be like, what the fuck? I thought he was a defensive end. What is he doing a defensive tackle? Hold on, wait, whoa. Y'all cheating. Stop cheating. Stop cheating. Y'all cheating. Timeout. Coach will probably be on the sideline. Like, what the fuck you call a timeout? Who's calling a timeout? Why are you calling a timeout? Coach, we ain't prepared for this. What are we supposed to do? Do you realize, coach, the play that you called was going to get us killed? Do you not see these two monsters lined up next to each other? What you want me to do? You think my kick step is that quick? Hold on. You think my kick step is that quick? And you think my kick step is that quick? And you think I'm that strong? You think I can get in position to stop either one of these? Okay, well, let me ask you this during this timeout. Hey, so what if they run a stunt? What if they run a stunt? I mean, if that Sheldon Rankins is running a stunt, that's one thing. He's been in the league for a minute. That's Daniil Hunter. And if he runs an outside stunt and Will Anderson runs an inside stunt, that leaves him on me. Oh, so you think that I prepared to go up against Will Anderson Jr.? Yeah, coach, we're not doing that. Another thing that I seen, and I said this on the record today, D'Amico laughed about it, and I said I guess I don't have to ask you about this, because the one thing I asked him was, when you're looking at when you have an injury like you had to Cam Robinson, and you have to move Ariante to the left tackle, are you evaluating him at left tackle, or are you evaluating him at left tackle, or are you just putting him there so you all can get through practice, knowing that you're going to put him back at the right tackle with Cam Robinson? And he said everything is evaluation. He said, I wake up. He didn't say I wake up. He said, when I get to practice, or when I get to the facility, the coaches sometimes don't even know what's about to happen. I show them something, they be like, he said, I throw a wrinkle in the game every day, because the NFL is about adjustments. Or the NFL, anything can happen at any given time. So on Tuesday, I'm looking, and they start out with the twos, not the ones. They start out with the twos. And I'm saying, is that number 39? 39 is Henry To'oTo'o. Why is he playing the middle linebacker position? Why you got to be a middle linebacker? Then I realized last year, when Azeez was hurt and when Azeez got suspended, Henry To'oTo'o had to play the middle linebacker position. And so now they want to be prepared just in case. And so Henry was playing at the middle linebacker position. So they're just doing these different things, right? They're just doing these different things. Let me hop into some more things that happened at training camp today. Of course, the defense won again, just like we talked about. They should have won. They looking good. I said the run game looked good. Hey, Davis Mills dropped 2 consecutive beautiful passes to the rookie wide receivers, one to Jalen Noel and one to Jaden Higgins. Side note, if the Houston Texans does this, right? If the Houston Texans go Nico Collins on one outside here, and then put either Jaden Higgins or Xavier Hutchinson. Let's just say Jaden Higgins, because they have him on the unofficial depth chart as starting. So you got Jaden Higgins, you got Nico Collins. If they put Christian Kirk and Jalen Noel in the slots, one, I think that's going to help CJ out a lot, because, and it's really, this is what I be trying to tell people, is that sometimes you don't know what JJ Watt said it best. You don't know what the offense is doing. You don't know what the defense is doing. And so the first half of training camp practice on Tuesday, the defense, of course, was eating. They was eating. But I've been noticing something the last 2 days. They eat that first half. Then that second half, they'll still eat, but not like they did. It looks like the offense does something different. And for the first time in training camp, I seen one of Bobby Slowick's plays from last season. For the first time in training camp, I seen one of Bobby Slowick's plays that was highly effective. Very, very, very effective for the Houston Texans. And come to find out after practice, I was told that there are some of the plays that they kept from Bobby that they're incorporating into the offense because they were the good plays. They were the effective plays. And they are the ones that CJ feels comfortable with. So for the first time today, and it could have happened, but I haven't noticed it. But I noticed it today, and maybe because I was at a different angle and I was able to see everything. That quick slant to Nico, whether it's on the right side or the left side, hey, that's unstoppable. That's unstoppable. And they ran that quick slant today in the second half of practice, and the defense had to back up a second because the defense hadn't seen it. The defense hadn't seen that play since last year during training camp. They brought it out today, and I said, oh, all right. And what I seen was some of the plays, I started to see some of the things because in the second half of practice, they started to get the ball out of CJ's hands faster. So bam, 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 bam. They starting to get it out. And I say, okay, they starting to build up a little, they started to build a little momentum. And of course, like I said, that defense is top notch, but you could just see that offense starting to, they're starting to gel just a little bit, right? And so my prediction is they will start gelling after that Carolina game. After that Carolina game, going into that final game against the Detroit Lions, which I don't think that the starters will play a significant amount of time because they're going to have to start making cuts after that game. So they're going to use that as an evaluation. But I think that they will have that offense or start to have that offense down because I'm starting to see more and more. They're going to have to get that offensive line together. They're going to look. I said it on Monday. I'll say it again. Hey, let's just roll with Titus at tackle. Let's just roll with Titus at right tackle. That's it. Let's just roll with Titus at right tackle. Let Ariante, Ursery, and Cam Robinson compete for that left tackle. Let them compete for that left tackle. But just let Titus play right tackle. And then if you're going to put Juice there, if you're going to put Ingram there, I don't know who you're going to put there, but put somebody there that you're comfortable with and let them roll. If you can protect CJ from both sides with good tackles, just let it go. I listen, but I'm not an evaluator. I don't know what they're looking at. I don't know what they want to do. So that's that. So the lineup they rolled out today was Titus at right tackle, Juice at right guard, Jake Andrews at center, Laken Tomlinson at left guard, and Ariante Ursery at left tackle. All right, let's get to what we really came here to talk about. Okay, let's get to what we really came here to talk about. And once again, you're tuning to the Texas Happy Hour hosted by the Hall Family Estates. Go to www.hallfamilyestates.com. They say you can't buy happiness, but you can buy wine, and that's the closest thing to it. All right. Well, I can't say that, but what's up? MEAATY. I think that's a pause moment, right? Zay says our defense is gonna win us games again this season. Guadalupe, what's going on? So, real quick, all right. So, when you look at, let me not even start it that way. Let me start it like this. When Nick Caserio went into what was getting ready to go into the 2024 NFL draft, I don't think the Texans had a first-round pick. They only had a second-round pick. And I think they got that in March from Minnesota, right? They got that in the Cam Akers trade. Somebody double check that for me. But they didn't have a first-round pick. They didn't start picking until the second round. But the one thing that Nick Caserio said, and this is the most important thing. This is the one thing that I want you all to remember, right? And I wrote this down. This is a quote from Nick Caserio in early 2024. We are going to get someone that can play opposite of Stingley. Let me say it again. We are going to get someone that can play opposite of Derek Stingley Jr. Those are the words of Houston Texans general manager Nick Caserio. We are going to get somebody that can play opposite of Derek Stingley Jr. And they drafted Kamari Lassiter in the second round. Some people had him as a late second round pick, early third round pick. There was a lot of people who did not believe in Kamari Lassiter. There was a lot of people who didn't believe that Kamari Lassiter could play like he played. Of course, at Georgia, he helped win 2 national championships. Of course, he played lights out, was second team all SEC his last year at Georgia. I think he was a 3-year starter. And I think in 2023, he did not give up a touchdown, which is crazy because I don't think he gave up a catch in the postseason last season either. Anyway, I digress. So Kamari has this big chip on his shoulder. Because even though in the second round he was drafted equivalent to number 10, Kamari feels like he should have been a first-round pick. And a lot of players feel that way. A lot of players who go in that who go in that second and that early third round, they feel like they should have been first-round picks. And with Kamari, he definitely feels that he put in the work. But there were some people that says he couldn't open up and run with wide receivers. Okay. He didn't have the speed. Okay. He was a gritty, tough cornerback who wasn't afraid to be physical, who loved to hand wrestle, who loved to hand wrestle to get wide receivers off their to get wide receivers off of their routes or whatever the case may be, right? Right. And so a lot of people had him, if 10 being the highest, some people had him, graded out as 6.6 or something like that. Kamari read these things. Kamari knows these things. And Kamari carries a huge chip on his shoulder. That's what fuels him. What fuels him is he wants to be the best. And not only does he want to be the best, he ain't out to prove to nobody he's the best. He just wants to show you he's the best. And when Nick Caserio says we are going to get someone that can play opposite of Stingley, what he meant was we're going to bring somebody in that's talented enough to play opposite of him, play opposite of Derek Stingley Jr., but also listen to Derek Stingley Jr., listen and watch and sees what he does to emulate that. They were looking for someone that could emulate what their all-pro, what their potential all-pro cornerback could do. Kamari Lassiter is that person. Hands down, Kamari Lassiter is that person. Kamari Lassiter is that dog. He is that player that wants all-pro by his name too. He's seen it. He's seen Sting. He's been calling Sting all-pro Sting since the day he got to the Houston Texans facility. But he's a hard worker and he wants it. He wants it. He said, I think that you all remember early in training camp when we interviewed him, he said that he worked out a week after they lost to Kansas City. He started working out. And the only time he took a break is when the organization told him, you've got to stop. The organization said, hey, you've got to stop. You got to stop. Slow down. We don't need you burning out before training camp. We don't need you burning out for the season. We know what kind of player you are. We know that you want to work. It's crazy when Aziz can look and say, I don't even have to worry what's going on over there. Of course, I ain't got to worry with where Stingley is. But even as a rookie, I didn't have to worry about him because I know who he is and what he is, and I know that he's going to handle his business, and I know that he's going to do what he needs to do. And so Kamari plays with this huge chip on his shoulder that fuels him, that pushes him, that makes him want to go to that next level. He wants his name mentioned with the all-time greats by the time it's time for him to leave the NFL. I'm telling you what I know, not what I heard. Also, you should have known who Kamari was, or what type of time he was on, or what type of energy he has, because all he wears pretty much is black Air Force Ones. Now, for those of you all who are not familiar with the culture, and by the culture, I'm talking about African-American culture or black culture or whatever you want to call it, hip-hop culture, whatever you want to call it. For those of y'all who are not familiar with the culture, let me help you out. Anytime you see somebody with black forces on, that means they're about that action. That ain't somebody you really want to mess with. That ain't the time to test your bravado or your machismo or whatever it is you think that you want to. It ain't time to be tough when somebody got on black forces. And Kamari has a lot of, I think throughout the season, that's the only thing he really wears. Unless like he's going, no, I've seen him out dressed up in black Air Force Ones. Like he keeps that black Air Force One energy all the time. That's him. The only time I really see Kamari smile is if him and Kalen Bullock and linebacker Jamal Hill are all joking on each other or tanks around. I seen him joke, and when he's around his parents, especially his mom. Other than that, he focused. So I say all of that to say that I'm not surprised in how he's performing so far in training camp. On Tuesday, I don't know what it was. I don't know what was said. But Kamari took training camp practice on Tuesday very personal. And you could tell he took it very personal because of the pass breakups that he had, the coverage that he had. His first interception, CJ was trying to throw a deep pass to Nico Collins, and Kamari intercepted it. And then later on through practice, Kamari got an interception, and it would have been a pick six. I know some of you all are like, everything can't be a pick six. Nah, when he caught it and he was gone, there was nobody that was going to be able to catch him. Anybody that would have been able to catch him was already up the field. He was going this way. He put his stamp on training camp practice on Tuesday like none other. And some of you all may say, well, damn, Sarge, that was a long diatribe. That was a long soliloquy. No, I'm just trying to give you a heads up on what's to come. Because even in his rookie, even after his rookie season, and even after he played well, he played very well his rookie season, Kamari Lassiter still feels disrespected. He still feels disrespected. There are a lot of people in the media. Who won't give him his credit, who won't look at him and say, all right, he gonna be good. They rather give it to everybody else. And I noticed that too. They gave it to, hey, what's that cornerback out of Iowa that plays for the Broncos? Moss, right? Moss plays for the Broncos. What's the cornerback's name that plays for the Eagles out of Iowa? I can't think of his name right now. The one that everybody was going crazy over. He was like the male version of Caitlin Clark at Iowa. Oh my goodness, I can't think of his name. But when you're looking at the way that those guys play, I'm not saying that they didn't play bad, but don't disrespect don't disrespect don't disrespect Kamari like he didn't, have a hand in the way that they played. Cooper DeJean. Thank you. Thank you, Dreadhead Cam. Cooper DeJean and Riley Moss. That's his name. Those two guys got way more credit than Kamari. And I'm saying to myself, don't get me wrong, but if you're going to knock Kamari, it's one of the things that they knocked Kamari for was playing opposite of Derek Stingley Jr., right? Don't Riley Moss play opposite of Patrick Surtain? Right? Don't he play opposite of Patrick Surtain? Did the Eagles not have one hell of a defense last year that allowed Cooper DeJean to do what he did? So if you're going to knock Kamari for playing on that defense like he isn't a part of that defense, then how do these guys get passes? Wait 1 second. All right. I don't get it. I don't understand. So as I digress, on Monday I called Will a training camp terror. Shoot. I don't know. I don't even know what name to give Kamari on Tuesday because he just was every freaking where. Every time they turned around, Kamari was making a play, doing something. He was just doing something. And I guess he was like, you know what? Everybody it's my turn. It's my turn to go ahead and step up. Not step up. That's the wrong choice of words. Not step up because he always steps up. But it's my time to shine. And none of those players on that defense wants those type of individual accolades. They don't want to shine like that and everybody be like, oh, well, this is one person, blase this and blase that. Nah. They ain't doing that. But Kamari, sheesh. I think that, look, if I'm CJ, I'm like, damn, he over there again. They ain't subbed him out yet. He's still over there. So now, the good thing for CJ is, by the time they had to play the Broncos, he would have seen enough of Derek Stingley Jr. and Kamari Lassiter to know how to go at Patrick Surtain and Riley Moss. Because they do have a good defensive backfield. I'm not taking that away from the Broncos. The Broncos got a hell of a defensive backfield. Broncos got a hell of a defense. Let's not get it twisted. All the lockdown corners in the world want to improve the pass pro, give us wide receiver depth. What's up, official? I get it. I understand. But I will say this. It's not going to give you won't improve the pass protection or give you the wide receiver depth. You're right. All the lockdown corners in the world won't. But what it will do is this. It will give you the opportunity to get the ball back to keep getting it right. A lot of times when you see these offenses that you may not think is good, but they have a hell of a defense, the one thing, let me put it like this. The Ravens defense, right? The Ravens defense, when they had Ray Lewis and all that, hell, they didn't have a great offense, but the defense kept getting them the ball. Like, all right, here, try it again. Hey, if it don't work, we'll go get the ball back for you again. Oh, here you go again. I think, they only allowed 9 points, like 9 points a game during that Super Bowl run. They're like, hey, we're going to get it again. When the 49ers had a hell of a defense, hey, don't worry about it. We got you. We're going to we'll get the ball back for you again. Hell, last season, even when the Texans were struggling on offense, the defense say, don't worry about it. We'll go get it. There were some games they couldn't. Some games they didn't. That Ravens game, that Beyonce Bowl game, I mean, hell, and look, Kamari scored the only points in that game. So no, a lockdown corners won't give you wide receiver depth or pass protection. But what it does is it keeps getting you offensive possessions. And if you keep getting offensive possessions, because if the Texans don't turn you over on downs, right, and meaning that if they don't make you punt, or if they don't turn you over on downs as far as you going for it on fourth down and don't get it, they're going to take the ball away. And what they have been focused on a lot, this offseason and in training camp is getting the ball. Hey, we ain't trying to bat the ball. We ain't trying to knock the ball. We trying to hey, I want it. Let me have it. Those defensive backs, those linebackers, let me get that. And so, no, it won't give you those things on offense. But what it will give you is more offensive possessions. And the more offensive possessions you give a quarterback like C.J. Stroud, the more offensive possessions you give a running back like Joe Mixon, the more offensive possessions you give a wide receiver like Nico Collins, at some point, it's going to click. And that's the thing. I tell people all the time, stop looking at the selfie and look at the panoramic view. Some of y'all are too young to remember. And I think I've used this analogy before. When I was in school, when you took a class picture, right, they'd bring you all out to the football field. Everybody from your class stand on the bleachers. They put they put the teachers and administrators in front, and then the students in back, and then they take the picture. And then when it was time for you to get the picture came rolled up in a tube. And you pull the picture out of the tube, and you got to open it up like this because it's the panoramic view. A lot of you all aren't used to looking at a panoramic view. Y'all used to looking at the selfie. And a lot of the sky is falling bullshit that's going on. That's because they're looking at the selfie. All they doing is this. I ain't going to do it, but some of them doing duck lips. They looking at the selfie. When the Texans offense is a panoramic view. It's a pano. You know on your iPhone, that pano, and you go like this, and the little arrow just goes like this, goes across, and then it takes a picture of everything. That's what it is. It isn't that you go to your camera, turn your camera around, and then it's only focused on you. No. That selfie mode is not going to get the Texans where they need to be. That selfie mode is not going to put the Texans in the position that they need to be in order to win. It's the panoramic view. And that panoramic view probably won't be seen until after the bye week. But you got to give it an opportunity, and you got to give it a chance, man. Damn, I sound like I'm preaching. Hey, do I need to drop my cash app so y'all can put some money in the building fund? Y'all need to put some money in the offering? No, I'm just saying, because, I mean, yeah. No, I'm preaching up in here. Like, if nobody else tell me, I'll tell myself, hey, look, I'm going up in here. Official, do you think that it was the defense that let the Texans down in the playoff game? That is a good question, official Dom J. Dom J says, do you think the defense let the Texans down in the playoff game? No. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they only lost their playoff game by what? What was the score? 23-14 or something like that? What was the score? Don't worry. I got it right here. Let me go look. Game tracker, post AFC. Yeah, 23-14. And by the end of the third quarter, the score was Chiefs 13, Texans 12. They gave up 10 points in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes threw one touchdown. Travis Kelce caught a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes was 6 of 8 for 42 yards in the fourth quarter. CJ was 8 of 13 for 93 yards. They couldn't run the ball. Kareem Hunt had 39 yards in that, but Travis Kelce had 33. Let me go look at something right quick since I have it right here. Here we go. The Texans had the ball 4 times in the fourth quarter. They turned it over on downs. They had to punt, and they had a field goal that got blocked. I remember that. The Chiefs had a punt. They had it 3 times. They punted, they had a field goal, and then a safety. So, no, I don't think that it was. Let me see. Travis Kelce was hard to stop, which is really weird because that next week, he looked like garbage. He looked like garbage that next week. So no, I don't think that it was the defense that let him down. Go back and look at that game. Dalton Schultz gave up 3 sacks himself. I don't even know if he just did he block? I don't even know if he blocked in the fourth quarter. Let me see. Let me go look. Where are the sacks? Touchdown, interception, fumble recovery. Y'all give me a second because that was a good question. Yeah. Not the second half, because in the second half the offense gave up 5 sacks. Sheesh, was that in the fourth quarter? Let me go look at the playlist. Quarterback progressions. Yep. And just like I thought. Hold on. Let me get to the defense. Chiefs defense. Yep. In that fourth quarter, y'all, I can't pronounce his name. I'm going to spell it, though. I remember this. Karlaftis, Karlaftis. He had 3 sacks in the fourth quarter. 3 sacks in the fourth quarter alone. You know who gave up that them 3 sacks? Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is on the offensive side of the ball. And so, Dom J, no, that's a very good question. And if you ask them, they're going to both sides of the ball are going to take the blame. But it was more of an offensive thing than it was a defensive thing. I just don't want the Texans to look like the Broncos did when they had Tebow. Defense was fire. Nah, they ain't gonna look like they're not gonna look like that. They're definitely not gonna look like the Broncos. Because before I get ready to get up out of here, I gotta get ready to get up out of here. Before I get ready to get up out of here, like I said, what I will say is this. There's too much talent on the offensive side of the ball for the Texans that I feel like they're not going to be good. And I asked this question I said this on social media, and I'll ask this question right here, and you all can answer it. Tell me what training camp, what NFL team that is holding training camp right now, which is all of them, that you've heard consecutively that the quarterback's been balling? Like, just give me you can give me 1 to 5, give me 1 to 3, give me 3 teams where you say, where they have been saying, yo, the quarterback looks amazing. And then when you tell me the 3 teams that you think the 3 teams that the quarterback has been balling, then I want you to go back and I want you to tell me what their defense looks like. There's no possible way Bo Nix is tearing up that defense. I haven't looked in what the Ravens are doing. I could see maybe the Ravens. Yes, CJ has been been able to audible. Ravens, maybe. What about Josh Allen? Bills don't have a bad defense. What about him? Other than that, I don't know. Anyway, I got to get ready to get up out of here, y'all. We got a media dinner today and tomorrow. So we got a media dinner today and tomorrow. So I'm about to ready to get up out of here. I appreciate y'all. Make sure. Hey, look, and I told you all, hey, on TikTok, I will be going live when I do these shows. Anytime I go live on YouTube and Twitter, I'm going to go live on TikTok because some of you all don't have YouTube. You should get it, and you should subscribe to the Texas Tailgate Talk YouTube page, all one word. Some of you all don't have Twitter or X or whatever you call it. I call it the app formerly known as Twitter. Some of you only have TikTok. So I want to make sure that there's a large conglomerate of Texans fans on TikTok that also needs Texans updates from training camps and from games and practices and locker room and press conferences. So I'm going to make sure that you get those as well. Let me say goodbye to TikTok. Appreciate y'all. I will see you all mañana. Bam. All right. For my family, I may try to come back tonight. Because I know that I didn't get a chance to read your comments, but I got to get up out of here. Got reservations. So you've been tuned to the Texas Happy Hour, sponsored by the Hall Family Estates. Make sure you go to www.hallfamilyestates.com for all your winery needs. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter and Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Make sure you follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Follow me on Instagram, Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Do it with me now. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. 1 hop this time. 2 hops this time. Sorry. Now to the right. Because you know we do everything for the gram. And make sure you are subscribed to the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast and YouTube channel, all one word. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. There's some people that's going to want to know what Kamari did and how he was able to affect the Texans training camp on day 11. And I want y'all to show him. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all got the Harlem Shuffle in my mind. Big Sarge, I'm out.
Big Sarge.